All right. So I'm talking about mindsets and the three mindsets that I have adopted as general pillars in my life. And so I've discussed previously the mindset of the marketplace facilitator. The three mindsets are the mindset of the producer, the mindset of the investor, and the mindset of the marketplace facilitator. Today I'm going to be talking about the mindset of the producer. Now, when we hear the term produce or producer, a lot of people will think either like television producer or music producer, but they don't think about production in other aspects of their life. Now, the mindset of the producer is important because from what I've seen and what I understand is that the universe or God or whatever you believe rewards producers of the world, not the consumers. And so to be a producer is to become a maker, is to build and to create and to produce new things, new ideas, new information, new knowledge, new products, services, new networks, new relationships, new projects, etc. To produce, to output. And one of the reasons why I think this is important, and it hit me a long time ago, that I used to be extremely concerned with consumption. This was back when I was like a vegan and everything like that, and you're trying to have sort of a conscious consumption. But the truth of the matter is that there is no such thing as ethical consumption. Consumption, by definition, means to take something in or to destroy something as it is and take it in as a part of yourself. So if I'm consuming food, right, I'm decomposing or deconstructing that food into my body and eating and everything like that. If I'm consuming content or something like that, I'm taking it into my mind. I'm taking something into bringing it into myself or something like that. If I'm consuming uh clothes or apparel, I'm taking product that, if we go back far into the supply chain, was from the destruction of other materials and then, systematically weaved into clothes or into this specific knit or something like that. So there is no such thing as ethical consumption. If you're consuming technology, the technology that you're consuming on the screen and everything like that comes from materials and sources of other raw materials that was, refined and destroyed or altered or alchemized into this product. So there is no such thing as ethical consumption, and that's a lie that I think people are very attached to, thinking that they can become ethical consumers because that's just not true. It just doesn't exist. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a solution. And the solution to that, to your consumption, I think, is to produce, overproduce, and give something back to the world. We consume so much of the world as individuals, as peoples, as collective, as groups, that to sort of wrong to sort of right that wrong, the only solution really is to produce and give back more than you take in and to output more than you input into yourself. Now, obviously, there's a balance because you have to consume in order to produce. You have to consume information in order to produce information. You have to consume knowledge in order to produce knowledge. You have to consume energy in order to produce energy. So there's obviously a balance there, but in general, if you can produce more than you consume, or try to at least, you're in the right state of mind. So right, if we're thinking about like content, for example, if I consume 10 pieces of content a day, well, if I'm producing 20 pieces of content a day, I'm gonna get rewarded. You know what I mean? It's gonna, if I consume five for every, and this is a challenge that you can do for yourself, right? In anything. If you read one book, if you consume one book, if you consume one book a year, right? Two books a year. If you consume an hour of film a week, make an hour or two of film a month. Obviously, these are stretches. I know you're not gonna fucking write two books a year. You're not gonna fucking make, a show or something like that in a week or whatever. But you get the idea. If you produce more than you consume, you cannot go wrong. You absolutely cannot go wrong. Um, because now you're putting that back into the world. Someone somewhere is going to find what you produced and consume it. So, in all aspects of life, you should always be aiming to produce more than you consume. Um, whether it be, you know, relationships, always trying to either bridge relationships or create new relationships or create new networks or create these um or fill gaps where there are gaps. If we were obviously thinking about just music or anything like that, or film or fashion or anything like that, right? The producers, the people who make things, the people who create things always get rewarded in the end, not the people who consume things. And obviously there has to be a point where it has to transition. You if you're going into an endeavor, whatever, if you're going into a new endeavor, you're obviously going to be a consumer first before you're able to produce. And this is what I talked about another time, is Bloom's taxonomy of education. And creativity is the highest form of understanding. Um, I don't even know if I can maybe try pulling up the let me see here. Let's see. Um, anyways, Bloom's taxonomy. It's a foundational pyramid for learning and understanding. At the bottom, I think it's like memorizing. Then under that, it's like reciting. Then on top of that, it's like synthesizing or something like that. But anyways, at the top of that pyramid is creativity. The highest form of understanding is creativity. Taking something, innovating on it, and then making it your own or unique or giving it perspective or a lens that has not been yet seen or manifested before. Um, and so you can only do that after a certain amount of consumption. So if you're going into a new field, let's just say you're going into a new field of martial arts, for example. Well, you have to learn the techniques. You have to learn the foundational techniques. You have to learn the basis of what makes up, a solid foundation. You got to learn your jabs. You got to learn your hooks. You got to learn your step. You got to learn your breath. You got to learn your body. You got to learn this. So you have to be a consumer in that aspect to learn. And then at a point, it flips. You get to a point where you understand it so well that now you can become a producer. You can start innovating on techniques, becoming creative on techniques. You can switch up styles because you're so fluid with it. You have such a great understanding of it that now you can produce and innovate on top of that layer. And then that's when you start pouring back out into the world. And so this goes with anything. This goes with anything. This goes with anything. Absolutely anything. But the mindset of the producer is one that is very, very powerful to adopt. And I would urge you to adopt it. But yeah, so the mindset of the producer, the mindset of the investor, the mindset of the marketplace facilitator, that was the mindset of the producer. So I'll talk about the next ones a bit later. All right.